What if your body defied all the laws of nature? From extraordinary genetics to staggering abilities, discover 10 individuals whose unique morphology pushes the limits of the possible. Welcome to an exploration of the most fascinating biological singularities of humanity. Number 10. Thomas Wetters, the longest nasal appendage in history. Living in 18th century England, Thomas Wetters remains etched in the annals of medicine and world records for an absolutely unique facial feature, a nose measuring an incredible length of 19 centimeters. Although precise details of his private life remain fragmented due to the era, his morphology sparked constant interest and fascination from anatomists and chroniclers of the Georgian period. This nasal protrusion was not the result of artificial growth or a prosthesis, but rather an extremely rare genetic trait, likely a severe form of tissue hyperplasia or a congenital malformation unrecorded at the time. In the context of the 18th century, professional opportunities for someone with such a difference were limited. Wetters cleverly used this peculiarity to carve out a place for himself in the world of itinerant show business, becoming an iconic figure in the cabinets of curiosities that traveled through Yorkshire. Even today, his bone and cartilage structure remains a fascinating subject of study regarding the limits of human facial variation. His wax statue at the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum bears witness to the disbelief his appearance continues to evoke. Wetters' case perfectly illustrates how a physical anomaly, far from being a simple handicap, can transform an anonymous existence into an indelible historical destiny, marking popular culture for more than 2 centuries. Number 9. Francisco Domingo Joaquim, phenomenal oral elasticity. Originally from Angola, Francisco Domingo Joaquim, affectionately nicknamed Chiquinho, possesses a staggering elastic capacity in his oral cavity. His jaw and skin tissues allow him to stretch his mouth to an impressive width of 17 centimeters. This technical feat, often demonstrated by inserting a full soda can horizontally into his mouth, earned him global recognition and an official title in the Guinness World Records. Medically, such flexibility suggests a very specific collagen structure and hypermobility of the temporomandibular joints, rarely observed to this degree of magnitude. Researchers are interested in his case to understand how connective tissues can maintain their integrity despite such extreme stretching. Far from being a mere curiosity, his case illustrates the impressive plasticity and resilience of human tissue. Francisco has transformed this unique biological specificity into a true tool for communication and notoriety. Traveling the world for television shows and international events, he demonstrates with communicative joy that the human body can adapt and present physical configurations that defy standard anatomical norms. His story is one of self-acceptance, transformed into a world-celebrated talent. Number 8. Gyoti Amge, perseverance in the smallest stature. Gyoti Amge is officially recognized as the world's smallest woman, a distinction she carries with remarkable dignity and ambition. Her stature is due to a rare form of dwarfism called achondroplasia, a genetic condition that affects the growth of long bones. Measuring barely 62.8 centimeters, she embodies a biological rarity that influences every aspect of her daily life, from the choice of her clothes to the layout of her domestic environment in India. Despite the physical challenges and logistical obstacles imposed by a world designed for people of standard height, Gyoti refused to be limited by her condition. She has developed an international acting career, notably appearing in the cult series American Horror Story, where she proved her dramatic talent. Her genetic mutation, while limiting her physical growth, has in no way hindered her intellectual and artistic growth. Professionally, she uses her global media visibility to raise public awareness about the living conditions of people with extreme forms of dwarfism. She campaigns for inclusion and respect, proving that an individual's impact on society is in no way correlated to their physical dimension. Gyoti Amge is living proof that determination and charisma can transcend any biological barrier. Number 7. Robert Wadlow, the giant of Illinois and the limits of growth. Robert Wadlow remains, in modern history, the tallest man who ever lived, reaching the staggering height of 2.72 meters. Born in Illinois in 1918, his exceptional growth began in early childhood, resulting from hyperplasia of his pituitary gland. This condition led to an abnormally high and continuous production of growth hormones, a phenomenon today treatable but incurable in his time. Clinically, Wadlow's case is a fascinating and moving study of the colossal pressures exerted by gravity and mass on the human skeleton and cardiovascular system. His imposing stature forced him to wear metal braces to walk, and he suffered from a loss of sensation in his lower limbs. Despite these chronic pains, Wadlow was universally recognized for his gentleness, courtesy, and professionalism, which earned him the nickname the Gentle Giant. He traveled across the United States as an ambassador for a shoe company, requiring custom sizes beyond imagination. His premature death at the age of 22 was a shock, but his scientific legacy continues to help endocrinologists understand complex pituitary disorders. Robert Wadlow remains a legendary figure, reminding us of the physiological limits of the human body in the face of excessive growth. Number 6. Sultan Kösen, the tallest living man in the world. The current world record holder, the Turk Sultan Kösen, stands at a height of 2.51 meters. Like many historical giants, his exceptional size is the direct consequence of a tumor affecting the pituitary gland, causing hormonal gigantism. However, unlike his predecessors of past centuries, Sultan has benefited from the spectacular advances of modern medicine. The medical management of his case represents a major scientific victory. Using advanced radiosurgery techniques performed at the University of Virginia, doctors succeeded in stopping the growth of his tumor, and thus his height, in adulthood. This intervention likely saved his life by limiting the strain on his heart and joints. Nevertheless, he faces daily ergonomic challenges, requiring crutches to move and entirely customized furniture. Beyond the purely spectacular aspect, Sultan Kösen has become a true cultural ambassador. He uses his notoriety to promote tourism in Turkey and to share the realities, sometimes difficult, of a life lived on a different scale. His resilience and ability to maintain a positive attitude, despite physical complications, make him a symbol of hope for people suffering from rare hormonal disorders across the world. Number 5. Gary Turner, skin that defies physics. Gary Turner is famous worldwide for possessing the most elastic skin ever documented, capable, for example, of stretching the skin of his abdomen over more than 15 centimeters, or covering his chin with the skin of his neck. This extraordinary peculiarity is due to an extreme form of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS, a rare genetic disease that affects connective tissues. In Gary's case, the collagen, which acts as a biological glue to maintain the structure and firmness of the skin and joints, is defective. This makes his tissues incredibly malleable, but also fragile. What could be perceived solely as a disabling pathology was transformed by Gary into a flourishing artistic career. He has performed within prestigious troupes like the Circus of Horrors, captivating crowds with his skin contortionist abilities. His case is frequently cited in dermatology and genetics textbooks to illustrate extreme variations in human elasticity. It allows researchers to better understand the crucial role of structural proteins in the body's integrity. Gary Turner demonstrates that with courage and humor, it is possible to transform a major genetic difference into a force for entertainment and education. Number 4. Rolf Buchholz, body transformation as a chosen rarity. Unlike the genetic anomalies mentioned previously, the rarity of Rolf Buchholz is the result of a deliberate will. This German IT professional holds the world record for the number of body modifications, with more than 450 piercings, the vast majority on his face and lips, and numerous subcutaneous implants, including horns on his forehead. Although his singularity is chosen, he constitutes a fascinating subject of study regarding the human body's tolerance for repeated exogenous interventions. Rolf's case questions the limits of dermatology, infection risk management, and healing in the face of such a density of metallic objects permanently inserted into the dermis. Despite his radical appearance, which can be surprising, Rolf leads a stable professional life, proving that extreme identity expression is not incompatible with social integration. His journey illustrates a desire to push back traditional social and aesthetic norms. It represents a unique intersection between human biology and body art, transforming his own body into a technological and artistic living work. Rolf Buchholz reminds us that humans also possess the capacity to sculpt their own rarity through rigorous personal choice and physical resistance beyond the ordinary. Number 3. Kathy Jung, the quest for the impossible silhouette. Kathy Jung is globally known as the Queen of Corsets. Her wasp waist, measuring only 38 centimeters in circumference, is the result of several decades of daily and continuous wearing of a corset, a historical practice known as tight-lacing. This voluntary morphological modification is one of the most extreme ever documented without recourse to invasive surgery. Physiologically, Kathy Jung's case is remarkable for science. Medical examinations have shown how her skeleton, particularly her floating ribs, and her internal organs have shifted and reorganized to adapt to this permanent external constraint. Although this practice is controversial due to the pressures it exerts on pulmonary capacity and the digestive system, Kathy has maintained stable health for decades under close supervision. She embodies a Victorian aesthetic pushed to its peak, becoming an icon of non-surgical body modification. Her story testifies to the plasticity of the human structure, capable of remodeling itself under the effect of constant and prolonged pressure. Kathy Jung remains a striking example of how aesthetic will can radically influence natural anatomy. Number 2. Kim Goodman, extraordinary control of the eye socket. Kim Goodman possesses a visual ability that defies imagination. She can project her eyeballs to a distance of 12 millimeters out of their sockets. This phenomenon, technically called voluntary exophthalmos or proptosis, is extremely rare and results from muscular control of incredible precision combined with a specific orbital structure. Unlike thyroid pathologies, such as Graves' disease, which can cause involuntary and painful ocular protrusion, Kim's case is totally controlled, painless, and instantly reversible. Ophthalmologists observe her case with particular scientific interest to understand the dynamics of the extraocular muscles and the exceptional resistance of the optic nerve during such mechanical stretches. Her singularity has made her a must-have guest on global television sets. She discovered this talent by accident during a blow to the head, realizing that her eyes could now pop out of their sockets at will. Kim Goodman demonstrates that certain aspects of human anatomy, generally considered strictly reflexive or involuntary, can be mastered by certain individuals in a spectacular and safe way for their vision. Number 1. Lee Redmond, patience in the service of length. Lee Redmond held the record for the longest nails ever worn by a woman for nearly 30 years, reaching a combined length exceeding 8 meters. Her singularity does not lie in a genetic mutation, but in a discipline of life and extraordinary physiological maintenance necessary to preserve such growth without the slightest breakage. The process required a total modification of her daily gestures and the invention of specific methods to accomplish simple tasks like cooking or driving. From a biological point of view, her case illustrates the capacity for continuous production of appendages, nails and hair, and the structural limits of keratin. She treated her nails daily with warm olive oil and hardeners to maintain their integrity. Although she unfortunately lost her nails during a car accident in 2009, her journey remains an exceptional testimony to human perseverance. Lee Redmond transformed her own hands into a work of time and patience, marking the history of world records through her ability to push the limits of what the body can carry and maintain over the long term. Number 11. The moment of the unexpected case. In a world obsessed with the norm, lived Ilara and Kale. Ilara, with her long and curved nose reminiscent of fairy tales, and Francisco Domingo, whose eyes and mouth could stretch to surprising dimensions, were rare works of art. They had learned to dance to the rhythm of their singularities, transforming curiosity into admiration. Your difference is not a flaw. It is proof that you are a limited edition. Shine with all your curves and all your deviations. These life trajectories, whether the fruit of genetics or will, remind us of the immense diversity of the human race. Far from standards, these individuals celebrate biological complexity and the exceptional adaptation capacity of our species.